Hi, welcome to Palettes, Perfumes and Planning, and I'm here tonight with a favourite fragrance of the stars, and it's Estee Lauder's Youth Dew, which was a favourite fragrance of Joan Crawford's. And Youth Dew is a amber spicy fragrance. It was launched in 1953, and the top notes are, amongst others, spices, aldehydes, lavender, orange, bergamot and peach. The middle notes are spicy notes, cloves, cinnamon, rose, ylang ylang, jasmine, lily of the valley, cassia and orchid, and the base notes are Peru balsam, patchouli, oak moss, amber, vetiver, vanilla and musk. And those are the notes in Youth Dew as worn by Joan herself in later years. And I believe the earlier perfume or fragrance that was worn by Joan Crawford was, as many others had worn, Jungle Gardenia. But this was the fragrance that she was wearing the night that she married her final husband, Alfred Steele, who was on the board of Pepsi Cola. And I myself, having known people that had Youth Dew as a small child, I always thought it resembled cola as a small child. The colour of it always reminded me of cola. But apparently Joan had it sprayed, amongst other places, in her hair the night she met Al Steele, who was her final husband, and they were married until he died, which wasn't the longest of her, or the longest marriage, but I believe it was one of her most happy marriages. Joan was one of the finest actresses ever to grace the screen, and she has left behind some fabulous films. And Joan was a single parent. She had 4 children. She had a daughter called Christina. She had a son called Christopher. She had twins called Kathy and Cindy, and they were all adopted children. So she's the parent to 4 adopted children. And all through this video I am going to put pictures up of Joan with her children in their younger years, when she just had Christopher and Christina, and then with all 4 children, including the twins Kathy and Cindy. And also photographs of her with her daughter Christina in later life. There are several of them out and about together, apparently having a very pleasant time. And if anybody has any negative feelings towards Joan, I should have perhaps said it at the start of the video, please don't leave any negative comments in the comments section, because everybody has their opinion, and my personal opinion is I think she was a fine actress. I think she was a star. I think she cared about her children, she cared about her fans, and I think the photographs that are there of herself and Christina are in themselves proof that they did have a relationship for a very long time after Christina became a young lady. So whilst your opinion may differ from mine, please don't leave any mean or negative comments in the comments section. Also, Joan was on the board of Pepsi Cola after Alfred Steele died because she, I believe, took a huge interest in Pepsi while they were married, and she travelled the world with him representing the Pepsi brand, and after he passed she continued to work with Pepsi Cola. So she was also a businesswoman. And Joan Crawford had an awfully hard childhood. She didn't get very much in the line of education. She had to work as a young child for her schooling, and by the time she had all her work completed there was hardly any time for schooling, and that, I believe, she would have liked to have addressed. I believe that saddened her through her life, and she would have liked to have had a proper education. But considering what little she did have, she certainly made the most of it, and she never asked for pity or a pity party. She just got on with her life and made herself what she was when she passed away: a legend, a star, a mother, a businesswoman, and an Academy Award winner. And in the pictures I'm putting up, there is one of her receiving her Academy Award. She was sick at the time and she was in bed, and the film she won for was Mildred Pierce, and there is a picture of her with Anne Bly, who played her daughter Vida in that film. And also there's further on, there's a picture of them at a later date. They did have, I believe, according to Anne Bly, quite a good relationship, and she was indeed very fond of Joan. And she was one of the people who mentioned what I always thought as a young child watching Joan Crawford films, that Joan Crawford was quite a tall lady, and this wasn't the case. Joan was quite petite, and as I grew up and realised that, I was very surprised, because to me she was always a massive character, a massive whatever on screen. Her presence was just huge, but she was very tiny, which did surprise me. Also, there is a photo of Joan in one of my favourite films, Sudden Fear, with Jack Palance, and the dress that Joan wore in that film. There are many pictures of her wearing out and about afterwards, so she must have liked that dress as much as I did. Stunning dress. And there are also pictures included of her with Judy Garland and Rosalind Russell, who were both quite close friends of Joan's, and her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and some just generally nice, I think there's a couple of nice candid snaps of Joan also. So I will leave it at that. YouTube, Estee Lauder, as worn by the late and great Joan Crawford. And if you haven't seen any of Joan's films and you like classic films, you should perhaps see what is around to watch, maybe on YouTube or wherever, because I don't think she ever made a bad film. She never made a film that wasn't enjoyable to watch, and she always gave 100, even if the scripts weren't so great. Joan certainly was. She gave 100% of herself, and as I did say in the video already, she respected, loved, and never let down her fans, which in itself says something about her character. And I do believe also Joan done a lot of charitable and charity work that was never mentioned. It was always done anonymously. There were people aware of it, but it was never done for publicity. So I'll leave it at that. And thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed, thumbs up the video. And thank you for spending the time with me and getting to know a little about Joan Crawford from my perspective as a huge fan of hers. Thank you.